Hello everyone and welcome back to Eve Market, your weekly look at the amarr market. We're just gonna go starting straight off with the list. I've got to load one of my spreadsheets up. Nope. Not in the quick list. Totally forgot that. There you go, there it is. Thank you. That one was we were missing. Alright, so we're gonna start straight off with titanium. Titanium is still going quite healthy, still slowing going up in price. Just pretty much the whole week. Well, not steadily, it's going quite rapidly up. We're heading for still for ISK. But we've seen for the last 3 days we're seeing a small downtrend already again in price. On that, but it had a quite of a jump up in price here. Sales amount seems to be going up slightly. Looks like it. Today it's a little bit lower. So yeah, we saw a bit of an uptrend here. Not too big. You see still 4.4 on that because yeah, titanium is so low prices. Difference are so small. But we're seeing the uptrend clearly this whole week. 20 days also going up quite rapidly. Not sure if this is going to continue on for the next week, but it's quite surprising this uptrend. 4.64 here for the sellers, 4.54 for the buyers. Definitely starting a little bit in the uptrend, quite rapidly uptrend on the prices here. And ferrite. Let's get the graph up because apparently someone has been buying for the wrong price. Ferrite has not doing too much. Beginning of the week we've seen uptrend in price 6.6. Still all sixes. We've seen a little bit ups and downs in the sales amount. Spiked up, dropped again to normal. Straight away another spike, dropped again, and see even today a little bit of a spike up on sales amount for ferrite. But clearly let's see, beginning of the week we went up in price and then we dropped down again, and for today we're dropping quite low again already for price. I think hitting the 5s again, so we're off the 6s on this, back to the 5, so we're sitting high 5s I guess on the prices now. And this might drop a little bit more tomorrow or during the weekend. But we're seeing quite low prices here on ferrites only. 6.38 for the seller, so on the seller side we're clearly still sitting in the 6 ISK range. On the buyers we have dropped quite a decent amount to 5.77. That's quite of a drop suddenly here in price. Orders not too big, you can quite drop quicker on amount, only more maybe 5-6, getting close to it because these orders are quite small for ferrite and get fulfilled quite easily. So those can go up quite quickly in price for this, quite quickly dropping in price, not up. No, but sellers staying a little bit behind, staying quite high on price here still. Then Maxlon always been the highest one here for the minerals from Isaac. Well, Noxium you can get too, but still Maxlon you can get in good quantities. Still going up this week after we had this like about a month drop in price for Maxlon. We're now definitely starting to go back up again. We already had that last week, a small uptrend in price, back up, but clearly this whole week it has been keep on going up in price. Hit here 75 today, maybe 76, no 75 still on that. We did have a few days lower price here on the Thursday and Wednesday, 73, 74 on there. But you see 5-day average is gonna go up, 20 average still going up, so we are clearly again in an uptrend for price for Maxlon. And Maxlon is a really high price, it's still going up. On the seller side we're getting quite close towards the 80s, 79.48 on the sellers currently. That's quite a high price. And for the buyers, 74.25 currently. So definitely Maximum is back on the uptrend after we've seen some drops in prices. Now still seeing a lot of orders coming in. Yeah, on the buy side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we've got a lot of new orders coming in here from Exelon. So this is already pushing the price back up again. Then Oxygen. Oxygen has a little bit up and downs during this week, especially at the last part of the week. So yeah, see a very sharp corner here between, that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, yeah. So on Wednesday we had a really suddenly drop in price here for Oxygen towards 47. It's quite a quick drop. Well, it came up from quite high around the 50th even. So we went quite up Tuesday, Monday, Saturday, yeah. During the weekend we definitely saw last weekend we saw a spike up for Oxygen during the price during this whole weekend. Beginning of the weekend start dropping again on 50 to 49 to even 47. It's quite low, but see already we are crawling back up to 49 today, maybe 48, no, still 49 on that. So also here I'm seeing a drop first and then straight away going back up on price. So maybe someone sold a lot. For the prices, 51.59 for the sellers and 48.06 for the buyers. It's not too bad, but definitely we are increasing here quite rapidly on price. Then Noxium still going up. We see a huge sales here a few days ago on Tuesday. We have a huge sales on Noxium here in the system. Well, we had normal sitting around 12 to 13 million, what's the normal amount being sold here on a day. 42 million in one day. That's a huge amount that's been sold here. Did not have that straight away an effect on the next day, a slight effect. Even the average price dropped there, but the 5-day average went still up. We see now today also a jump up in price to 374 is per unit on average. So we're seeing here quite decent increase in price for Noxium suddenly. It was already going up for a while, but we're now seeing suddenly 5-day really taking a steep jump up on the price here. So Noxium looks to be definitely going up on the market, getting gonna get a lot more money for that in. 380 currently for the sellers, but you get, that's a really low one that's coming in. 387 is gonna be the next one. Then for the buyers, 356 on the buyer side. So also here we're going quite fast up, but we're still not even close to any record prices for this. Not at all, but still, Noxium, keep an eye on it. I'm expecting this one to start going up even more. I think it should not be surprised if we're gonna hit 380 or 390 somewhere on the next week on here, because it is rapidly going up in price here. Let's see what the 06 minerals are doing. Zinrit is quite stable for the whole week. See, beginning of the week a slight drop in price here over the weekend, it looks like it. We have a date here. You get a date here. Always handy to have those. Let's put you right. Yeah. So yeah, we've seen quite rapid price movements here. Let's see, this is the 16th, that was Sunday on there. Yeah, last week we were sitting here on the 985, really low prices here for Zinrit. We see definitely some stocks came towards the market or got bought off the market. 12.5 million sold in one day. Normal amount is more like 3 million. huge amount of sales here compared to normal. It's pushed the price quite a lot up to 1033, sitting there for like 3 days flat. Then yesterday on Thursday we dropped to 1000 on that, but today already it's spiking back up to 1052 on there. I'm seeing, and first we had a nice drop here on the Zinwood, and now we definitely starting to go back up on that price. For the sellers, 1105 on there, and for the buyers we have new ones coming above the 1000. He's setting up quite high, but the quantities are quite low, 1005 on the buyers. But this one is gonna fulfill quite easily, and then we're gonna drop below the 1000 again for 997 on the buyer side. Then see if I have a sales spikes on mega side. We definitely had one here too on the 15th. That was Saturday. We had a spike. Well, it doesn't look like a sales, but a buy up on the market, because the price jumped up here to 1350, and even on the Monday it cost 1400 on that for 1 day. After that we dropped back down to 1348, staying pretty much there for the rest of the week on those prices. But for today we're already starting to climb back up again, almost 1400 on average price. So mega side, after a little bit of a drop you had here, stayed a little bit low. Now we're starting to see an increase in price for that, and someone bought here at the right moment, because the day after that it went up. I do see this amarr, this new one. I don't know if this is even a citadel. That is indeed, that's not even a citadel, it's an engineering complex. I should get set for 2 jumps. Should change my filter for 1. Currently in the system here, 1414 on the sellers. For the buyers, 1295 on there. Then the best one, all fight, basically staying very stable this whole week. On the 15th, that was last week, we saw in the weekend from Saturday to Sunday we see a little bit of an uptrend in price between those two. It was 9875, and we're pretty much staying there for the whole week. So there's no movement here in Morphite, really stable on this. Supply demand staying really nice and stable. There's quite a decent amount coming in here for 9898 on the seller side. On the buyer side we're saying at 9111 on there. Some regular salvage armor plates. It's pretty much quite stable for the last week when we did the video. It was still sitting on the same price on the Saturday on average, but then we started to make a drop in price for armor plates, are dropping now towards about just above the 18,000 per unit. I don't know why we have suddenly this drop. Sales amount looks all pretty normal on there. We just have suddenly a drop. It may gonna go back down towards one of these prices here, towards the 16,500. But I may expect that's gonna happen if we're gonna look a little bit at the longer term. We can also see a little bit better what is gonna happen. We came from quite a low, then down, up. Yeah, we might gonna get another drop from armor plates towards the 16,500. Or maybe 15 even. Somewhere around the 16,000. But it looks like we're gonna have, because we're sitting a little bit higher on price for a while, with a small drop here and a small increase again. Now it's suddenly making a drop, so we may gonna see that armor plates is gonna drop a little bit towards the 16,000 per unit. For the sellers, 19,400 for the sellers. For the buyers, 18,100. Burn logic circuits still on the drop. I'm gonna keep this like this big. A little bit more view on what maybe is gonna happen. But burn logic circuits, we're seeing here all the time the regular ups, downs, but we're now going for a few weeks definitely on the downtrend. It seems to be slowing down for the last few days a little bit. Starting from the 17th on Monday, we had a really lowest price here. and now we're starting to go up on price. Heading for on the 19 even a bit highest, then we're starting to drop again on the price. We might see just a small bump up that we see here everywhere. Small bumps up, so I'm expecting this has also to be a small one, and we're gonna go on for the next week. It's gonna drop in price. Let's see for the price, more than 500 units. We'll hit 39,000 for the sellers and 37,000 for the buyers. For right interface circuits, made quite of a drop here. Starting indeed on the Saturday, here was last week's price, the 14th. It's in pretty much at the 4,500, 4,400 on the average prices here. But after that, on the Sunday, and we dropped on price, and on the Monday we went even lower. But pretty much sitting then for the whole week around the 3,800 price. So after the drop, quite stable on price. See here, the 20-day average is starting to flat out a little bit more. 5 days is also doing that. We may see a small increase here today's price. I'm not gonna expect there too much on that to happen. 3,899 on the sellers, 3,802 on the buyers. Now the capacitor consoles, pretty much for the whole week quite stable, sitting around the same price. Here, the highest price was 32, it dropped towards 31. So it's pretty stable, and you can see here for the last 4 days we see suddenly a little bit movement in there. Dropped to about 27,000 per unit on average. It's not too bad. That's not a bad price because of this drop suddenly, a 3,000, 4,000 difference in there. But next day straight away back up to the 30,000. And for the day we're seeing suddenly a jump up to 33,000 on average price. So I cannot really tell what multicapacitor is gonna try to do here, if it wants to go up or down. But it can also be like another one like we have here. There was only 2 days higher. This is 1 day higher, low. Went pretty much almost back up to the same price, except for 1,000 difference. And here we see a jump up of 2,000. But we can maybe see that's coming back down to 31 quite fast. It's not really clear what it's gonna do there. 33,500 for the sellers and 30,300 on the buyers. Trip power circuits, basically on the lines pretty much all the week on the drop here. But if we look at the average prices, we're sitting pretty much around the same price the whole week. We're seeing a small uptrend here around the middle for 11,500 per unit, but already straight away back dropping on that. But for today we're sitting again high, 11,700 on average price. So it might looks like we're gonna get, like we have all here, a small jump up in price, and after that we're gonna go back down again. That seems what is most likely to happen, but it also can always go a lot higher up. 3 units, yeah. 11,999 for the sellers and 11,302 for the buyers. Then Plex, I took a quick look and Plex looks still quite healthy here. We're still going up in price. Average prices 1,210 million. Looks really good on the Plex prices here. If you have stocks, still I'm staying with my same thing I said last week. If you have time to sell a Plex, 1,250 million is still not a bad choice to put it on there. You might even, if you want to take the risk, put it even higher up it. Even maybe 1.270, 280 wouldn't be a bad guess on there. But we're still going quite healthy on the price, on the uptrend here. But we are getting closer towards the next patch. It's gonna be 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 maybe 3 weeks for the next patch. Then we have the tax changes. So all the speculations are still, when that comes out, Plex will just drop in price like really fast. That are still the speculations. But for now, Plex is looking healthy on that. On the sellers, we're sitting here quite close, like I said last time, to 1,250,000,000. On that, we're still currently at 1,242,000,000 on a Plex on the seller side. On the buyers, still quite behind, 1,207,000,000. At least cost 1.2 billion here also. Supply here, we have a few good sizes here, 10 and 12. But if we're gonna pass that, we might see really quickly going to 1,250,000,000 on the Plex prices. Then drone parts. Take a quick look at this. Drone capillary fluids still going up on price, still going strong. Big sales, by the way, yesterday on there. We've seen still a healthy increase here in the price. 5-20 day average, all going up. I don't know where this is gonna end really on the price. We had spikes and then dropped down. We had a spike here not too long ago, about a month ago, but we're still, after this spike, we're still going up in price. 182,000 for the sellers and 147,000 on the buyer side for that. Then drone cerebral fragments. This the hell are those weird lines? Don't know if you saw it, but I had some weird lines pulling over here. Reacted to my mouse. Yeah, see? Yeah. Cerebral fragments. Jesus. Drone cerebral fragments. Very stable, very flat line here for the whole week. Well, pretty much for 1-2 months maybe. Really flat, really stable, so not really much to tell about that. 172,000 on the sellers and 140,000 on the buyers. The drone coronary unit. Still, also this one is still going up. Same with the fluids. Still really stable. Shut up. Still going up in price very steadily on that. Not fast, but it is going up. We see the 5-day made a little bit of a drop down here. Looks like the 5-day went a little bit too fast up on the line, and now recovering and staying nicely with the 20-day average on that line. So this one is still going nicely up in price. 4.8 million almost for the sellers here. It's really healthy on that, and 4.4 million for the buyers. Drone epidermal shielding junk. Also this one is going up. Big sales yesterday here. More than 5,000 units. It's like at least 4 or 5 times more, it looks like it on that. But before that already the price went up here to 59,000, 64,000 per unit. That's why I probably had this sales. Someone said let's sell it, and we dropped down to 38,000. But still, again today straight away back up. So I'm expecting this one definitely to keep on increasing on the next week. 50,000 for the sellers, 37,000 for the buyers. The drone synaptic relay wire. This is making suddenly a drop here. Pretty much for the whole week have been lower on the price here. It's 6,000, pretty much 6,100. See a small uptrend here on the 17th on the Monday to 7,000, but straight away drop back down to 6 for the whole week. So the weekend, it was last week. The weekend suddenly the price dropped, small jump up on the Monday. Then the rest of the week stayed quite low, but today we already recovered back pretty much to a normal price, 7,800 for the price there. Still 400 lower than it used to be, but still it's already climbing back up on that. But it can also drop quite quickly. 9,000 for the sellers and 5,101 for the buyers. Drone tactical limp. Yeah, what should I say? Flatline. We see the usual spikes every week on the price a little bit, but that's about it what you have here. So not really anything to tell about it. About 30,000 or 29,800 on the sellers and 18,701 on the buyers. Elite Drone AI. Also this one quite stable on price. We see only really small movements in here. Not going really any rapid movements up or down. Quite stable, around 2.7 million, 3 million. So a bit between 2.5 and 3 million it's in that price. Little of a sales spikes here for today, but not really have any influence yet on the price. May come tomorrow on that. But for now it looks really stable on here. 3.1 million on the sellers and 2.7 million on the buyers. Fuel. Let's see what fuel is doing. Helium. Really slow dropping in price. It's like 10,000 is per day about that is dropping, or even less. But really stable currently on the sales here for that. So it's maybe even gonna drop here, because I see a little bit of a drop suddenly on today's price on average, about 10,000, 20,000 drop suddenly, which is not too much for that, for fuel. But it looks like still sitting a little bit stable, more around the normal price with the head here. It maybe still trying to drop back to the 20,000, but I'm not sure if it's gonna ever make that. Still about 1,000 off, but yeah, I think it's really slowly trying to crawl back towards the 20,000 on this. For the sellers, we're sitting at 21,114 on that price. On the buyers, 18,352. Looks like helium is still the cheapest on the buyer side. Hydrogen fuel. Yeah, well, quite stable for the whole week. Yeah, for the whole week sitting pretty much flat at the 22,000 mark for the fuel. We only see one day here that we had a drop to 20,910 on the Monday, but the rest of the week we're sitting pretty much just above the 22,000. Really stable price here currently. Just above the 22,000 on the sellers and 20,830 on the buyers. Nitrogen fuel block. These had a quite rapid price up last week already. Right there to 25,000. Stayed there during the weekend. But on the Monday we made the drop down to an average price of 23,600 on there. Also see definitely a spike on sales here. Or maybe someone bought in a load and just sold it straight on the market. That could have happened, because that pushed the price down, because next day it's straight away back up to a normal price. But see already here for the last 3 days ago, 2 days ago, yesterday, seeing also back to 23,500 on the average price. Today we're seeing already a little bit high to 24,300 on there. Quite a lot of movements, but it looks like it is trying to go back again up to this 25,000. In my opinion, I think that's where it's gonna go up, back up to. On the seller side, we're basically sitting already on that 25,316 on the seller side, and a little bit above the 22,000 on the buyers. Oxygen fuel, there's still not a huge amount on the market there. If you look here, there's not much on the market. So might gonna see another increase in price. We've seen already some quite rapid movements here in the lines. I'm going a little bit smaller, you can see the rapid movements here. There's now less to see, but ups, down, up, downs on there. But it's moving quite quickly. We're seeing already here a jump up in price for the last 2 days. So oxygen fuel is suddenly jumping up on price here. 23,000 plus on that. Well, we came from like 22,400 on the price, sitting there pretty flat for like 4 days. 5 days more like this is the limited sales amount that dropped the price. But it was really stable at 22,400. Seeing that we have still a shortage on that. That's why we're seeing here a jump up in price. And the shorts we definitely have, because these are all the sellers and these are all the buyers. Definitely more demand than supply. 23,326 for the sellers and 21,501 on the buyers. I'm definitely expecting this one to start going up more and more. Quick fuel. If you need quick fuel, let's see which one is then the cheapest to buy straight away off the market. Surprisingly, oxygen still is cheaper than nitrogen. It's still helium fuel is still the cheapest on the seller side, and probably same on the buyer side. Yeah, helium fuel block is in both cases the cheapest currently, even for quick fuel and long-term fuel. So long-term, I mean with setting up a buy order. Helium fuel block is still the cheapest. Only economic report of March. Quite late, we're almost at the end of April. CCP, you're late. I will take a look on that later. Not doing any videos on it unless you guys want, because it's now popping up a monthly economic report. I might can do something about this too, if you guys are interested in that. PI broadcast notes. Also here quite stable. We've seen here only the difference between buyers and sellers. 2.1, 2.3 million on that. So there's not too much to talk about here. Really stable. A little bit too long stable on my opinion. So I am expecting soon maybe a price increase in here. Towards this price. 2.7 million. It's a little bit too long staying around this price for my opinion. On the seller side, 2.2 million. On the buyers, 2.1 million. So really stable. But I'm expecting this will start going up quite soon. Then integrated response drones. Not doing too much on here. We're seeing a little bit a dive down on price here to 2.4, 2.5 million on the price here. But you see already today it's crawling back up to pretty much a normal price of 2.7 million. I'm missing by the way one data point here on that, so it's a little bit weird. A little bit of bug again here. Now and then you see those bugs, unless what day was that? It was a really low amount sold. No, there's a bug here. There's still a 0, so there's that's a bug there. But yeah. We saw a little bit of a drop here on Wednesday and Thursday, but now we're going back up to a normal price. 2.9 million on the sellers and 2.5 million on the buyers. Then Nano Factory is not looking too good. This one is still on the drop in price. We definitely make even a bigger drop this week for the price. We're starting to go down on that. 1 million already dropped here below the million. But it's not too good. We're sitting here for 3 days. We've seen a little bit of an uptrend here yesterday. Again above the 1 million. It's trying now then to stay above the million, but it's not gonna stay there, because we've seen today again a drop to 960,000 per unit. So nano factories are on the drop still. It does not look really healthy on these. If you're producing these and you want to sell these, I'd say don't keep them. Keep them in your hangar, don't sell them, because this is not healthy that is so dropping so long. Just above 1 million currently for the sellers, and there are so many orders coming in. Looks like about the whole front page here is all new orders coming in. So there's a lot on that coming in. On the buyers we already dropped to 860,000. That's not a good time to produce them. Not at all. Organic water applicators looks a little bit healthier, but we did make quite of a drop last time. Last weekend. This was last time already, last video. So we stayed pretty much for the whole weekend around the 1 million for that, but it looks a little bit healthier on the prices. We've seen a little bit of an uptrend on here. We're missing 1 day a price. That's this price, same with that one. Missing data of that. So 1.1 million we called back up, but we're seeing already a slight drop. Here we dropped to 1 million. But also here at the end we're seeing again a small drop in the organic mortar applicators. Doesn't look too good on this side either, but it tried to go up, but it is just not going up here. 1.1 million for the sellers, about 1.1 million for the buyers too, but this can drop quite quickly. Because this is the only high order up here. If this one gets fulfilled, we would straight away back down below the 1 million at 990,000. Recursive computing module is quite stable. On the 5-day average we look quite on a flat line. We're seeing a little bit, yeah, well, flat. In my opinion flat, because there's not really big movements in it. We're seeing a little bit of uptrend here in price to 1.8 million. And dropping here a bit to 1.7 today, 1.6. So we are a little bit on the drop, but it's, yeah, I think it's trying to go up, it's trying to go down both ways. This is just not gonna happen. It's staying pretty much between buyers and seller difference here. It's just not going anyway. I may expect next week it's gonna do some movement, but I have no idea where that's gonna go. It's go up or down on that side. 1.7 million on the sellers and 1.5 million for the buyers. Quantity 1. Right. Self-harmonizing power cores. Also here it's not a huge amount of movement. We see a little bit the average price going a little bit up on there. But we see already for compared to yesterday and today we're seeing a little bit of a drop in the average price. But it's also not too good. But we're seeing this looks a little bit more healthy at the 2 million. Well, 2.1, 2.1, 2.2. I think it's not well. It sits quite on the low side on the price still. All these can of course probably go up on the end of the year. Expecting when the refineries are coming, but there's no such detail anything about it. But definitely yeah, it's hard to tell what this is gonna do. 2.2 mil for the sellers, 2 mil for the buyers. Sterile conducts, a little bit on the downtrend here still on the price. But we're staying pretty much for the whole week. Let's see the dates that was last week. Sitting between buyers and sellers. We see a little bit a drop in price on the 5th five-day average. But yeah, it's really minimal on the drop here. We are hanging a little bit more towards a lower price. So this one expect to still slowly gonna drop in price for this. 1.3 million on the sellers and 1.2 on the buyers. Wetware mainframe, let's see what this is doing. It's not doing much. There's some movement here at the end. Quite rapid movement here. On the average price 2.1 and the highest this week 2.5 million. 400,000 difference on there. That's quite of a rapid movement in here. What I did not really expect. On this I expected more, seeing what it done last week, to stay quite stable, but that's not what they're doing. But where this is gonna go is hard to tell, because it pretty much even out on the high and low. You may say, oh, it has about the same on one dot lower, but this one is already back on pretty much a normal average prices here between the 225 and the 230. That's what this one already back up. So I think during the weekend it's gonna stay quite stable on the price. Well, basically, if you round it up or down, it's 2.4 million. On the sellers, on the buyers, 2.2 million on that. We're going quite quickly, sitting at 40 minutes. We're only at the tier 1 ship on the cargo. Let's see what the cargo is doing. Not too much really. We had a little bit of spike up here last week on price. We're pretty much basically back down again, but we already see a small increase in price again on the cargo. Already making a small uptrend. It's not too much on that, but it's not doing too bad. 9.7 million on the sellers. There's a lot of 111s on here. A lot of orders coming in here at new prices, and 8.5 million on the buyers. Then we're gonna have 4 new ships in the list. It was not a quest, but I'm gonna add them anyway. It's the Tech 3 destroyers. Have the tactical destroyers of amarr. The Confessor. If you look at here, quite low on that. Confessor is going up quite quickly on price on this. It has been quite low for a while if you look at this longer graph. But that if you take a 1 year, you see it came from quite high prices here around the 50 million, and then suddenly dropped towards about almost 32 million, back up and then back down again. It's sitting quite of a long time here, around the same price range. And all the sales amount did definitely went a little bit up here. If you look at this, if you look at the average price was here a little bit on this line. If you look here, the average price is gonna lie a little bit higher on there. But we see definitely an increase here in price. Currently 34.6 million is on average price for a Confessor. You see already the amounts on the market are not that much. I'm not a producer of this. I never looked into these, how to make those. So probably the same as the cruisers, but I never looked into them. 36 million is a new low one coming in. Yeah, quite low, like 1.4 million lower than the next one on the seller's side, and 30.2 million on the buyers. The Heckgate did had recently a spike in price here. You see definitely here it had some sales amount here, huge amount of sales here. Another one definitely pushed there a spike up in price, up to 52.2 million is per unit on the highest point it came. But after that it's already seen here dropping back down. It looks like going back towards just above 30 million, 32, 33 million on the price there. Let's see what the average price today, 35.5 million. So we're pretty much back already at the normal price for a Heckgate on that. There's some on the market, still not too much. It's still a chance, unless there's new supply coming towards the market, that we're gonna see another increase on this price here. With 36.2 million currently on the seller side and 32.2 million on the buyers. Jackdaw is making a rapid movement in price increase. If we look at the Jackdaw really a little bit longer term, what we see here, well, we are sitting at 100, pretty much 160 days, making a drop. Then suddenly it went quite quickly up in price, made another drop to almost 30 million. Did not reach the 30 million, but came quite close to it on there. Then we see pretty stable price, and then we see it slowly dropping below the 30 million. Here and there, it's more often got quite close to the 30 million. Since it was so stable, someone thought at least too stable, we need to buy up a load. Straight away see in 2-3 days spiked the price up to almost 40 million per unit on that. Then some new supplies looks like came towards the market, pushing the price slightly down, but we see now again another jump up to almost 40 million for the Jackdaw. I expect this one to stay up on the price during the weekend for that, but we'll see if that's it's gonna hold up on there unless there's new supply coming towards the market. There are not too many on the market really. We're sitting at 39.2 million currently on the seller side and 30.4 million on the buyers. Then the Swiss pool, also here we're seeing up to the price. 5 day went quite quickly up here, like 2-3 weeks ago on that, beginning of the month at least. We've seen quite rapid increase here in price. We had sales amount way back there that had really no influence. It was already going down for a pretty long time, and then we see suddenly it jump up, and then it keeps going down until it hits around the 28 million, just above the 28 million. Then we suddenly see another jump up in price. I think that happened here too. Yeah, 29 million, 29.7. We're seeing again a jump up in price or that. But now this time the jump up, it stayed high. It's staying high on the price. 33.1 million. Even today 33.6 million. It looks like we're getting a little bit of shortage here. We're gonna see again an increase in price for this visible. Jesus, I have a hard time to pronounce that one. 33.8 million on the sellers and 30.5 million on the buyers. Well, that was this week's look at the amarr market. I hope you already seen my other new video that brought out of EVE Online about the all new sons. I recorded all new songs for about a minute. I put it in one video. Already working on the other one that's coming out. I done 1/3 of the recording. That was about a 30-minute recording, but all gonna be cramped in a little bit smaller. But the video that I compiled was good. Only it was a little bit on the dark side. You could not see all the details of these structures really good. So I'll probably need to redo that one. That's at least what I'm planning. If I can find a good one that's that's good enough light. So and then I'm gonna need to redo that one. Still need to get the other two shots from it too. So I have still some work to do on that side. But I hope that one's gonna come out quite quickly. I haven't really set a goal for it. But I'm gonna have a lot of time on the next week to do some of this stuff. So I'm hoping to bring it still out this month. That's my goal at least. Don't know how long exactly it's gonna be, but that's my goal. For now, at least, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Please share it on with your corporation, alliance, and the other social media with this clip if you like it, this video. The more viewers, the better. The more viewers, the more likes, the more support. That's the better for the channel. At least, thanks for watching, and hope to see you next week again. Fly safe.